Try tackling.
Yeah.
Try hitting somebody. Like that, the football's a physical game.
Look, the 14th in the league. It's only 4 games in.
Positives when you lose a derby by that scoreline?
No, it's not hard. You have to look at what you did well, and obviously it's not enough because you want to win football games and not seeing positives from the game. What we did today here was not enough to get the result, and that's all we have to take from this game. Obviously, look at what you have to do better and go forward to the next game.
Okay, what's the answer to that? What do you need to do better?
Well, we need to score goals and not concede. That's the main thing of football, and I think we keep creating chances to score. We're not able to score as many or as much as we wanted, and I think we have to be more in control in certain situations. Obviously, I think we concede 3 goals where we could have avoided. I think the first one, when we need to be more brave when we go on a full pressure on a 1v1. As City takes that risk today against us, we need to do the same. And then the second goal from a throw-in, I think we need to be much more aware in that moment. And the third goal is things like that can happen, and then you need to be better positional to not get a counter like that.
So just give us your perspective on the first goal, because you mentioned it there. It looked at one point like you had Foden, and then obviously Doku beats his man. You look like you go out, and obviously at this level, it only takes a second. He's in behind you, and he scores.
If I was trying to press Rodri because the aim for the game was for one of the midfielders to jump on Rodri, one of defenders jumping on Foden. In the first moment where I can cover both, and then Lenny decides to come up. When I look at him, I see that he comes up, so I try to go a little bit more towards Rodri. Vardiol does a good pass to Foden, and Lenny was going backwards, and because of a miscommunication we end up giving too much space for them to go up the pitch, and that's what I mean. I think when we need to take more risk, and we have to be more brave with the last line to be a little bit more high, because if you see City, when every time we pass the ball backwards to our centre backs, they go on 3 against 3, and their line squeezes so much, and it's very difficult to play through the lines because the spaces between them are very, very narrow.
How challenging as well is it sometimes as a midfield too? It looked from where I was sat like they're trying to overwhelm you in that area, outnumber you in that area. Do you sense that? Do you feel that?
No, because we play with the back 5, or sometimes with the back 4 or the back 3, or whatever you want to call it, and we need obviously people to be very, very aggressive in the moment of pressure. We need to get the moments of jumping, because if not, the midfielders get every time under load. Because if you look at City, they had Rodri, TG, Bernardo coming in, then they had Foden. They make basically a midfield 4 against the 2. So you need the ones in behind you to jump, like Luke was doing very well on DG, like we did it in the first game against Arsenal. That's why they didn't play. They couldn't find the spaces to play, and that's what makes the spaces very narrow for the teams to play against a team that is very aggressive when you go on the front foot. If you're not brave enough to do that, it's very difficult, and then they will find the spaces and the gaps to play, because we're playing against a top team. We're not playing against a bad opponent, and obviously when you play against teams with this quality, they will find the small gaps and they will play the balls.
Yeah, I know it's difficult in this moment, but does it still feel like you're kind of heading in the right direction? Because at times this season it has felt like that, but then you have obviously nights like Grimsby, and then you have a day like today, which, like you say, maybe there's positives in the performance, but it's a pretty heavy defeat against your City rivals.
Of course, I think the result is very bad, and it's very bad on us. But I think it's 2 ways of looking at this game, because I think the goals could have been avoided from our side. I think on the ball we were very, very positive. We were very brave. We were playing the ball forward. When we created our chances, we could have been a little bit more clean with our chances, but we not get anything from that. So we wanted what City got, was the 3 points, and it doesn't matter how you get it. City was smart to get the goals in the way they did. They have a very good team, very good players, and obviously compliment to them.
Thank you
very much.
But he's made the point there. I think it's a pretty honest interview that they should have done better for the goals. As simple as that. They should have been sharper in their own play going forward. But I said it earlier, this United team, they lack that real quality. They struggle defensively. The midfield, run about United breaking the press, but when teams get United look all over the place. I think they're just United are an average team, an average Premier League team. The stats will tell you that, and I'm going back to last season as well. So again, we're sitting here. United's record as well against any of the top 6 teams or whatever is really, really poor. They can't seem to compete. They'll have maybe a good 45 minutes or a good hour. Bruno makes the point here. They kind of done it quite well against Arsenal, but they lost the game at home to Arsenal. Ultimately, you are playing for Man United to win football matches. And when you say we're coming up against quality teams, yeah, but that's part of the challenge. When you sign that contract, you're going, yeah, it's no good just beating the teams, the lesser teams. You're playing for Man United to compete against other good teams, and United can't do that. Whether they're not good enough, there's obviously issues. Talk about the system, but the manager's come in. He's sticking to his guns. He's not budging. But the results, and we look at the points per game and the goals for, goals against.
So that's a concern.
Yeah, it does concern me. It's not good reading. I came here today, and sometimes United with a bit of history, they've done it last year. But as soon as the game starts, you're looking, going, oh, you're worried. But you get that feeling against when they're playing any decent team. But even when you think, like we said, they've scored 4 goals, and we think United are a bit better going forward now. 2 of them were penalties. So they're not exactly a free scoring team and going, listen, we might score 2 or 3 and we might give up a few. It's like almost the same problems as last year. And what we were told, the new manager needs a pre-season. He needs his own players. I don't know how much they've spent. Another good few
over 200 million, yeah.
200 million.
Over 200 million.
Over 200 million. So we keep making excuses, but at some stage you go, well, when are we going to see the signs? Now people say give manager time, and of course. But we saw Slot going into Liverpool last year. Liverpool might have been kind of a better team at United at that stage, but he ends up winning the league. You look at other managers, you see Frank going into Spurs, you go, am I going to see signs of Spurs improving? And yeah. So how long do you keep waiting when this team are probably getting a point a game? That's what you'd probably...
But those managers that you talked about, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this as well, guys. You talked about Thomas Frank, known for being an adaptable, flexible manager. Slot sort of didn't try and change too much when he went in and almost just tried to tweak Jurgen Klopp's system. So
yeah, my worry is...
I think the problem is with the manager and the tactics he's deploying.
But my worry is with the players now, and Bruno's talking there, and is that maybe the players haven't got that much faith in it. So as much as the manager's going, this is where we're going, lads, and at the start you're probably going, yeah, new manager, new ideas, something different. But as the results don't come and you keep getting beaten or you're struggling against the better teams, if the players start doubting this system, and we saw some of the goals are given up today where some are going, some aren't, some are pressing, he's making loads of changes, he's chopping it back with the Maguire at the back, he's bringing Casemiro, and it's like they're going on in circles, this United group. And if the players have lost faith in what the manager's saying, because usually what you want, you're sitting in the dressing room, when the manager says something, you're like, yeah, I'm all in. But if some of the players are now starting to doubt that, I'm not saying they are, but when you see some of the goals they're giving away, you're going, are you all fully on board with this manager going, listen, yeah, whatever you say, we'll do it. We'll run through brick walls for you. I don't quite see it yet. I hope it can change, but we've given the benefit of when he first came in. He didn't want to come in. He said he wanted to come into pre-season, but obviously United said you got to come in. So results weren't great. You go, okay, listen, first pre-season, give me a pre-season, give me my players. And United are throwing money, and if these are brilliant coaches, you go, well, what are you going to coach these players to make them better? Because some of the decision making some of these players are making as well, which you've seen today, is like, it's just all wrong. And then not having the strength of the... We see Shaw for the first goal now. Shaw's an international footballer. For him to get caught out like that, you're looking going, do you know, Shaw, I think Shaw's been getting away with murder for years at United. Always injured, never quite fit. We make excuses. Then he gets a few games under his belt, and he's making decisions like he doesn't even want to tackle people. Like, we looked at all the stats in the Derby match there. Not one yellow card. And we're having the big build-up. The Manchester Derby, the weather's, it's raining, it's like set up for a few tackles are flying in. You're getting people. And Man United walk off the pitch. No, I'm sick of repeating myself. You walk up and you go, it's a Derby game. How are you physically? You're shattered. You shouldn't be able to get out of bed for a week after a tough game. And they're all walking off, and it's not one yellow card.
First time ever in a
but you got to
derby.
be set up right though. In terms of Man City's strengths, their strengths in midfield would dominate the game.
But they're going to tackle for the goals, Mike.
Yeah, of course. But what's happening is they've got 2 in midfield against Man City's 3 in midfield. How are you supposed to cope with that? And we're talking about Foden, Rodri and Reinders.
Mike,
we're the best midfielders in European football.
We've all played in games where your midfielder, the system you're up against, they do have an extra midfielder, but you try and compensate with someone. But doesn't mean say you don't tackle.
That's the problem.
You've got an extra centre-back.
You've got to, the centre-back has to jump
if
you're going to play.
Which is what Bruno was saying.
Exactly that. But what's happening is they're not jumping at the correct times.
Right, well, you get that. You sort that out with your team. Mm-hmm. That's another new buzzword. We jump. Try tackling.
Yeah.
Try hitting somebody. Like the football's a physical game.
But
We love it.
You have to. I agree with you, what you're saying, to be a bit more physical, but you have to be in the right positions. Going out there against these players who can keep the ball for fun, you can't get anywhere near it. And if you've got 5 at the back just holding it, and you've got 2 in midfield running around like headless
But
chickens,
the reason they can't get near...
it's impossible to get
But
near.
the reason they
anywhere
can't get
near
near me is because they're not mobile enough, they're not fast enough, they're not aggressive enough. They're really good in the ball, but if you give me time in the ball, I still be playing. But part of the game is people closing you down, or being aggressive, or hitting you late, make it physically demanding.
I agree, but we talk about systems all the time, but I genuinely believe Man United would be a better team if they played 4-3-3. I do. I think they've got the players for it now. I think this system is hindering them. They don't know what they're doing. When they're on the ball, they're trying to make something happen. The manager's trying to coach them, but it's not working. They're not.
Makes sense. Does that make sense?
The only validation they're getting in this system, in the 3-4-3, is when they switch the play, it looks good.
Correct.
But there's nothing else.
Or a counter
There's
attack.
or a fast break.
Fast break.
Buzzword. It's how they are effective. It's how they're effective. They either attack really quickly or they switch the play with the 2. You spoke about the 2 midfielders, right, in front of the back 3. They're so stiff and rigid, and there's no kind of offset shape to them. So, like for the first goal, if Ugarte doesn't jump out level with Bruno Fernandes and he offsets, I don't think that goal happens.
What was at fault today? Was it the system or the way it was deployed? Are Manchester United good enough to play in this way, or should they be just throwing it out? Nice easy one for you to start with.
He's not going to. I mean, when Rúben Amorim first came, I was quite heartened by the fact that he was going to play 3 at the back, because I felt that they didn't have 2 centre-backs that were good enough to play in a 4. But every single time I watch Manchester United, he changes the back 3 every single game, which tells you he's not sure about which back 3 he should play. And he doesn't just change the back 3, he changes the back 5. So you either have different wing backs or you have different centre backs. I mean, the amount of times you see Dillick go over to the right hand side, Maguire coming on, every single match. So look, system, no system, there are a lot of individual errors out there today as well. Luke Shaw had one of his worst games that I've seen him have. He's had a pretty decent start to the season, but all 3 goals he could have done better. You've just shown the one there where he was square. On the second goal, he was, he got obviously done by Haaland, and on the 3rd goal he leaves it short for Maguire, who then obviously doesn't help himself either by the pass. So yeah, they just had a really bad day at the back, but it was a bit of a nothing from United. I mean, they had little moments, 15 minutes in the first half at the start, and they had 5 minutes in the second half before City scored. But look, they're 14th in the league, it's only 4 games in, and we all said at the end of last season we can't be getting into October where Manchester United are 14th, 15th in the league, or else the manager will be in trouble. Now there's a few games to go before that, but they have to start winning quickly.
Manchester United's 3-0 defeat to Manchester City in the derby highlighted just how far they remain from competing at the very top. Defensive errors set the tone. Harry Maguire's costly mistake and Luke Shaw's struggles against Jérémy Doku left United exposed. The 3-4-3 system failed to offer balance, leaving gaps that City ruthlessly punished on the break. Up front, Benjamin Sesko was starved of service, while United's midfield couldn't cope with City's pressing and quick transitions. Erling Haaland's clinical finishing, Phil Foden's creativity, and Donnarumma's key saves underlined City's superior quality. Once United conceded, belief drained quickly, and their lack of resilience showed. For Rúben Amorim, this was a brutal reminder that tactical tweaks alone won't close the gap. His side must find consistency, defensive discipline, and sharper attacking play if they hope to challenge City's dominance.